All right, we are live. What's up, speaker friends? It's Michelle V here, and today we've got Brian Seim with us. He is a fantastic human, and he helps Christian men to connect with other Christian men to ensure that they are following God's plan. And today we're going to talk about various things, but especially how God can imagine a better you for you than you can. And he just really helps Christian men with their leadership. So we're going to be talking all things leadership, how you create those connections and communities, and how you really, that gives you the space to step into who you were here to meet, who you were here to be, and who God knows that you can be. So I'm really, really excited to chat with you, Brian. How are you today?
I'm great, Michelle, coming off of Thanksgiving week and trying to clobber Cyber Monday and look at it as thankful every day.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes, Black Friday now is lasting all month long, so it is kind of crazy town. And I didn't actually do any launches, but I heard that you were busy with that. So tell us a little bit more about Christian men. Why Christian men? And why are you so passionate about it? Give us a little bit of your background on that.
Well, I think Christian men, especially in the US, but I think globally, men have this stereotype that they need to have it all figured out and that we need to be doing everything just right and that we actually know what we're doing and where we're heading and why. And I know 20 years ago, I wasn't. I was praying every once in a while, a little bit, but I was really suffering with an addiction. And I was struggling with that, and I was just all on my own. And that led me into recovery. And one of my mentors says recovery is looking back, and masterminds are looking forward. And kind of that mastermind. Well, recovery was where I really started opening up to people and going, oh, well, you got an addiction? Oh, me too. And you're okay. And I'm okay. And then looking at ways to be better through that. And masterminds kind of take recovery instead of, I have an addiction and I'm getting better. Masterminds go with the vision side of things and go, well, what's forward? Where are you? What are your aspirations? Where are you going? What are you going to be next?
Yes. Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. And we really need both. I've personally found that I need both of them in my life in order to continue to move forward. And for you, what did that look like for can you tell us a little bit more about your journey with recovery and just what was it like before, whenever you didn't really, like you said, it sounded like there's just maybe it's a lot of guilt or feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like, hey, nobody, I'm supposed to have it all together. I'm supposed to look like I have it together. I'm supposed to provide for my family and be this great example for them. So what was it like before? And then now that you talk a lot about being better. And like, what exactly is that being better?
Yeah, I think before, and a lot of people feel this way. I feel this way still today. It's like, okay, I'm doing everything right or everything's lined up, but I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel that I'm making an impact, and I don't feel a great abundance. And if I look back and do a comparison, I'm like, wow, I am a lot better. But at that point of facing my addictions and doing that, I'm like, well, nobody else has this problem. It's like maximizing stuff or minimizing it. Like nobody else has an addiction. Nobody else has a sex addiction. Nobody else could handle it if I talked to them about it. So I'm a man, so I'm on my own and I have to figure it out on my own. And I just was like, I couldn't get help because I was performing excellently. My addiction was secret. People didn't know about it. So I had people surrounding me, people adoring me, people looking up to me, people listening to me. And then I was like, all right, I should feel great like they do. And I didn't.
Yeah, because on the inside, there was just there was a contradiction between who you looked like you were and who you really were. And then also that I'm imagining, all the stigma and just and the masculine, as a man being like you said, I'm supposed to take care of this. I can't open up to anyone about this. What are they going to think about me? And I imagine there's a lot of fear there too, that all the stuff that you do have is maybe going to come crumbling down if you open up about certain things or get help. Is that right?
Right. A lot of times for me, I was finding my work was my identity.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that, and then I left that work and everything through the recovery process. I'm like, wow, who am I? What am I?
Yeah.
And what's next?
Yeah. So what really shifted for you? Was it the recovery process, or was there one specific thing that really helped you to kind of shift into something else?
Um, I was a coach at that time, and I've always been a coach, teacher, and educated that way. And that's one of my God-given talents is coaching and serving and loving on others and seeing what they need. So I kind of forgot the question, but
Your point, like the turning point. So what I was gonna say.
yeah. So I just realized, okay, I can't be that because it's only half me, and I need to be the whole me. And the whole me is evolving and changing every day. So I need to look at that. And I sorted out all these things I had to follow my addiction. Some of those things I can still use in good ways, in good manners. So, in good ways to help myself and others. Um, I know at one point during my recovery, I'd lived with some people out in Colorado for a long time. And um, I wasn't a strong believer. I wasn't a strong follower at that time in my journey. But like I said before, I was praying, hey, God, if you can just clear up this little addiction, I'll be perfect. So go ahead and do that. And I could tell myself this lie that I'll be perfect after that. But I don't know. I believed it at the time and thought, oh, yeah, you could just do that. And so there was a little bit of faith there. But one of the people that I was close with and living with through some of that season, a few people, a family I lived with and worked with. One of them particularly, 20-year-old kid was, and I'm like, I need to reach out to them now that I'm in recovery, and I need to tell them the good news about the Bible and wherever people's faith is. I believe that Christ died for my sins and that I'm saved and I get to go to heaven, not because of anything I do, even though I spent my whole life thinking I had to do stuff. And as I'm preparing, planning, and kind of blocked by circumstance and location to connect with this guy, he died. His name was Spencer. And he was hiking the Maroon Bells in Colorado. And that morning, there's a video from his funeral and everything. It said, living life, loving it. He was just so carefree. He's so kind and friendly. A champion at CU Boulder on their ski team. And hours later, one of his friends dislodged a stone that knocked him off a cliff. And he was gone. And I was like, he doesn't know God. And if he does, we never talked about it. We never shared that. I knew I could share it with him. And so it's just been, it was a hard turning point. 2 years after that, we had my first son and we named him Spencer, just as a reminder to me to don't wait.
Yeah.
Speak out that truth.
Yeah. Open your mouth. Don't wait. That's really good. And for you, why is Christ so important? I know you had said you can be better. God can imagine a better for you than you can. You talk about moving into just leading your family and moving into and following God's plan for your life. But for you, why is that such a central focus to what you do and what you help other people do?
I think part of it is just being raised in a perfectionist home. Sorry, mom and dad, but that's how I see it, and just being that everything's right. I remember listening to Dave Ramsey years ago. He's got over 600 radio stations, but his early stories were, I want to be in 10 cities, and he thought that was a big goal, and he only made like 7 or 8. And that's in the middle 80s. And that was just a light bulb moment for me, because I've always been raised and I've been setting these goals that are like here. And I've been making them all.
Mm.
But if Dave set the goal here at 5, he wouldn't have got to 7. So by setting it at 10, he got to 7, and now he's at 600. He employs over 600 people, serves and helps people. And that was a breakthrough for me on the positive side. The addiction and the recovery and sinfulness and sinful thoughts are the other side. Just knowing that it's okay. Well, it's not okay, but I'm pure. I'm forgiven. Don't repeat it. Don't do it. Oh, shoot, I did it again. Oh, look, I'm new. I'm clean. I'm recovered again. And just continually having that faith and looking for what is better. I remember our pastor, it was only about 6 months ago, he said, close your eyes and imagine the best thing you can imagine. And things like family on vacation, out on a sailboat in the Caribbean, and business working well, and having a big team of coaches, and all this stuff was going through my head. And he said, now imagine if you were God. Imagine what he might be imagining. And that was a mind blower. It's like, I thought I did a pretty good job, but I can't. I can't even go there. It's so unimaginable.
Yes, yeah. And such a cool insight. And I like what you said there too about the clean slate. I think one of the reasons it's hard for us to move forward and be better is because we're dragging so much with us, and our vision of what we are today and yesterday is just so heavy, and it's so, I don't know, dark in some ways, that we have trouble imagining what's in front of us and what it could be. And I served a mission in Japan, and when I was there, I remember thinking, or, one of our leaders at the time, he said, in Japan, it's not, there's like, at the time it was less than 1% Christian. And he looked at us and he was telling us, you have something that they don't have, and you don't even realize how much you have it, because they don't know that today can be their fresh start. They don't know that they can be clean right now and just start over again and again and again, like you. They don't know that they can set that all aside and be healed and start from this fresh space. And I think we sometimes take that for granted, that we have that opportunity to start again, to get the baggage off, and to say, okay, here's my chance again today to be different and to step into this version that God has for me that I can't even imagine for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
When you said people looked at you and said, you've got something special. One of my favorite phrases is, we might be the only Bible someone reads today. And you bringing that presence in that space just says, I'm not going to preach at you. I'm not going to talk at you. I'm just going to be who I am, who God created me to be.
Yes, so good. And really, that's I've been reading The Go-Giver, which actually a Christian and a Jewish man, I didn't realize that, but there's a Christian, one of them's Christians, one of them's Jewish, but just a principle of God, right? That I think it's the 4th law that says that you are you are the greatest value that you have to offer the world. And I just love that idea that just we can be like, yeah, we can be their Bible, we can be the testimony, we can be the opportunity for them to come into the light and to step into this better version of themselves. And you have a leadership community, is that right? Or you're tell me more about your community or how you connect Christian men together, so that what's the importance of that, number one, and then how do you do that?
Right. So we've got a couple different programs, just a Facebook group, just a free connect thing. There's some content in there and monthly intensive on kind of our 3 islands toward abundance and impact in the kingdom. And then there's a membership group that has a few more. We have a Bible study in there, and then kind of group coaching, and then just kind of that mentorship on how to start an accountability duo or trio of people, and then launching your own masterminds. And then from there, I've got mastermind groups and one-on-one coaching for people. So we've got one group now, and we're doing a push right now for the first 10 members in the membership group, which is the new thing right now. So, and then our islands are kind of bless yourself times expand your territory times serving his kingdom yields kingdom abundance and impact. And that end result gives me that fulfillment feeling of, oh, there it is. And it's not about me. I was working on my budget last night and I didn't have enough for Christmas presents. And then I finished the budget, and I did. And I just sat there and I said, thanks, God. I didn't think we had it. We bought a new tractor for the snowblower up here in Minnesota, and did some things last month that I thought were going to make things hard. And there was just enough. And we always did our giving first. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. So I'm going to drop this link right here as well. You have a leader assessment, excuse me, that probably kind of goes through some of those pillars as well. Is that right?
Right. That introduces them and kind of talks about each one. I think the first one's kind of challenging for a lot of people, especially us men, is bless yourself. Taking care of ourselves, working in ways that may seem selfish. Well, I can't bless myself, but whatever level we raise ourselves up to is the level that we can bring people along with us to. So
yeah, going back to that identity, and it's receiving too, because God has so much for us to receive. It's like receiving for yourself in the blessings that he has and building yourself up so that you can build others. Yeah. And then you said giving as well.
Yeah, serve his kingdom is kind of the third part, and part of the bless yourself is kind of the Dave Ramsey thing. I've taught that course. He has a Financial Peace University course that helps you get out of debt and create abundance with your finances. And one of his big statements is finances are one of the main breakers of marriages. So that's an important component of blessing ourselves and our families, is handling our finances and having a vision, being a good parent and a good husband in the case of the Christian man.
Yeah, fantastic. So you have a Facebook group that we can find you. What is your Facebook group called?
Kingdom Family Leader.
Kingdom Family Leader. Okay, so Facebook group is Kingdom Family Leader, and then you can take the assessment, kind of see where you're at. It introduces the pillars and shows you also maybe some simple things that you could do to move forward. And I love what you're doing in connecting as well and giving voice to these things. Before we go, I want to hear just a little bit more about this mastermind. You mentioned that a few times, and that word gets thrown around a lot lately. I think we don't always, everybody has a little bit of a different definition for it, but it sounds, yours sounds a little different than maybe some of the others that we've heard. So tell us a little bit about that and how does that work?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I often get into that because it's a definition thing. So many offerings are offering masterminds, which for me, I would call a master class. or a group coaching scenario. A mastermind for me is a group of highly motivated individuals that meet on a regular basis to inspire, encourage, and challenge one another. So our groups are groups of 8. Once a month, each person in the group gets a man in the middle time where they get 20 minutes of the group's undivided attention to address an issue, whether it's a parenting issue, a business issue, or whatnot. And so we meet every week to just talk through that, know each other, share our wins, share our plans and our goals for the next week, and share our vision for the next few years, and get feedback and insight and interaction from each other. I facilitate the groups. I don't lead the groups. I lead the structure and the organization and get the people connected and involved in there. And then as a group grows, the group that we have right now, they've just started facilitating themselves. So I've stepped out of facilitating every meeting. And facilitating is just kind of keeping things on time, making sure that everyone has their chance to share, and grabbing, I think John really knows about what your question is, and doing that. So just kind of running the structure of the meeting, being the, not man at arms, but what am I thinking? Robert's Rules of Order and all that.
Yes, yeah, no, that sounds like a really powerful structure. Like you're saying, it's not a network. It's not like a networking event. It's a group. It's this community where you have each other's back. You're meeting regularly. And I love what you said about sharing the vision. That sounds like it's super powerful, being able to share the vision and remind yourselves every single week and have accountability with other people saying, here's who I am. It's that declaration. I see so many different principles coming out there of the declaring where you're going and being able to, support one another. That's what we promise with God that we're going to do whenever we join him, is to serve each other. And then just being able to have that one-on-one, or that one with the man in the middle time that you talked about, for men to just again, over time too, you're building that strong relationship. So it's a safe place to open up. You trust these people. It's just, I'm really impressed. I'm really excited. And I know just from hearing about the structure of the group, I can just see so many God-like principles, God-given principles at play in there, that I imagine it does have a huge impact. Is there one story that you want to share from that? That's available to share.
One that kind of surprised me. One of my members in 2016, 2017, he was working on his diet, and his name was Brian. And I won't go any farther because part of Mastermind is the anonymity of it all. But he gave his report on his goals, and well, yeah, and I missed my points goal for my food, and ha ha ha, and then I stopped and I'm like, what's funny about that? And he was telling me, reciting this story to me just recently in the last couple of years, because I thought his big win story was different. But he said, that's what really impacted me, is you just said, what's funny about that? And I just flushed and I didn't know what to say. And that's when I started changing my diet for real. And I was like, cool. I didn't even see that going on. I'm glad I reached out to you, because he's one of the guys that has been with me the longest, and just looking at, well, what don't I know?
Yeah.
It was impactful to you, and what do people need to hear from that? And we didn't talk about it a lot after that, but that was the big deal. Not the money, not the change in careers, not the other successes in life. It was Brian's mean enough, loving way that I held myself to a higher accountability is kind of what he got out of it.
Yeah. And it just sounds like, I think it goes back to what you said before. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't be afraid. Don't wait to open your mouth and say what needs to be said. And like you said, you loved him and you said it in a loving way that was meant to build him up, and then it did build him up. And I think it also goes back to, we never know what our words and what our words are going to do, what small tiny moments could really change somebody's life. And just being in that space where you have that opportunity to share these moments with people, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for coming and chatting with me about this. I'm excited about all that you're doing. And if you are a Christian male, or I imagine if you're interested in becoming Christian as well, or learning more about it, you're welcome to join Brian and his group. And it is the Kingdom Family Leader Facebook group. And then you can check him out there. So any last words that you'd like to share with us, Brian? Hey,
Michelle, I want to thank you for just Inspire Speaker School and reaching out and making an opportunity to talk to new people. Because that's what it is just being able to connect with other people. And you don't need a mastermind, you don't need a coach, you don't need all these accelerators, but you might need to take a walk down the sidewalk or across the street and say, hi, my name's Brian. I don't even know who you are. Or if you're a little bit better than others, hey, my name's Brian. You're John. Do you want to get together and get to know each other? Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you again so much for coming on, and wishing you the best in all of your endeavors and in your Kingdom Leadership group. It sounds fantastic. We'll talk to you guys. We'll see you guys next time on the Inspire Speaker School.